We have a lot of fun. I'm teaching you guys how to make a timeless keepsake today with your Cricut. We're using 3 fonts. We have a really fun hack for how you can do some little swooshies on your own.
So this is specifically for people who are wanting to go for, you know how a lot of times Alicia specifically will use glyphs?
Yeah.
Like we'll go to the font book, copy and paste, but sometimes I have noticed that people have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
So we have some
Simple
fonts in our font book that we're going to show you what you can do so that you can have that elevated look without having to go through the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. So we're super, super excited for that. We cannot wait. Y'all don't know this, but I love projects like this. Number 1, this is a blank from Hobby Lobby. So supplies for today's project, very, very minuscule.
I mean, so
little. Simple. Yesterday I told the team, I was like, y'all are not letting me craft anymore. I'm like, I'm making today's project. They're like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm making it. This is so good. So anyway, what you need is this blank from Hobby Lobby. This is a wood pile blank. It's $13.99. The size.
It was $9 and something today.
Heck yeah. So the size is a 7.87 by 29 inches. So 7 by almost 30. Super, super good. I love it. And it's beautiful. So this is already like a finished sign. For $9, Lauren, this is a steal.
What I love about it is that it's already pre-painted for you.
Oh, yeah.
You can purchase them to paint them the way that you want to,
Yeah.
but this one is already pre-painted.
You're not going to be able to make this for $9.
No, you're not.
And the time it would take, like, it is super, super good. It's already, again, has the finish on it. This was really, I think, inspired by, this was really, really inspired by the Chalk Couture back in like years and years ago. Chalk Couture came out with some amazing blanks, and then I think Hobby Lobby gave their own version. So we love them and they're great. So $9 from Hobby Lobby, okay? Super great. We're also doing larger than matte. It doesn't have to be.
Truly, it doesn't have to be.
But it could.
It depends on how you break it up. We did use the 24-inch mat for this one. It does fit within the 24 inches.
Yeah, so we'll probably do that today just because we're doing larger than mat. You don't have to. You could break it up if you only have a 12 by 12 mat. We're using heat transfer vinyl. Now, I want to know if you have questions about using heat transfer vinyl on wood.
Y'all, it's my favorite.
I love it. Love, love, love it. Especially on like very flat, very like nice even wood that's sanded. Sanded wood's great.
You all keep your paint, keep your stencils, keep your adhesive vinyl for me. When it comes to putting it on wood like this, it's heat transfer vinyl or bust.
So good. It is so, so good to be able to do this project with heat transfer vinyl. You're gonna be really impressed. Now, I used to do heat transfer vinyl projects. I used to do these projects with a lot of larger easy presses. So what I ended up finding was many years ago, I would do heat transfer vinyl and use a 9x9 easy press, all right? Then I was like, that's really hard because the heat plate's so large. Then I moved to a 6x7 easy press when they came out with it. But y'all, you're gonna love doing this project with your mini easy press. If you watch the channel, if you're a fan of the channel, you will know the mini easy press is our ride or die. Best $39, $40, $50, whatever you'll ever spend, okay? So, so good. So you're gonna love that. You'll see how it comes together. A few notes just about the quality. It is going to stay on so well. It adheres really well. It looks better. It's thinner. I think HTV is actually thinner than regular vinyl.
Oh, for sure.
I love the feel of it. It looks super, super professional. And if you're selling this project, it would be awesome because it looks very handmade, but also very store-bought. You know what I'm saying? So it's super great like that. And we're using 3 fonts. So we have a really fun one for the grandchildren, link down below. We have our special little swoosh font we're going to talk to you about, and then an awesome script font as well. So we're going to break it down. We're using 3 fonts today.
Yep.
So when you are a Makers Gonna Learn member, you get access to a ton of fonts. Over 18,000 cut files, over 1,000 fonts, and you get instant access as soon as you become a member. So over on the website, what we're going to do is you're going to need the Sapphire font and then Sapphire swoosh.
Now this is where I want Tanner to take a few minutes. If using glyphs has been an issue for you in the past, one thing that you definitely need to do is when you go to the text on our page, if you just search the word, on the Makers Gonna Learn page, on the MGL page, and just go to fonts. And if you just search the word swoosh.
Oh, yes.
I want you to see all of the fonts that come up that have an extra swoosh font. So Tortilla has an extra swoosh font.
So just to pause real fast. So this is where you have Tortilla. So sorry.
Yeah.
You have
Tortilla.
You have Tortilla as a font. Then you have another font that is that font with the swooshes.
Yes.
So you, just like what we're going to do today.
So Tortilla swoosh is not one that you can use by itself.
Right.
Do not try to use Tortilla swoosh by itself.
Because it would look a little funny.
It would look not good.
So be sure to be aware of that. So that's why we're going to marry 2 of these. Will these work for my scan and cut? Yes. Our files are interchangeable on any die cutting machine. Caesar, Silhouette, Cricut, Brother, all of the machines. Love it, love it, love it.
Any machine really that uses that you use either a PNG or SVG in the software system.
Exactly. So
That's the
good.
other one.
Yep. So these are the 2 we're working with on the script font. And then we can take a look right here. All 3 of these are linked down below for you. This one is one of my favorites.
Opulence is a new font that is definitely a favorite here at MGL. It's a very nice serif font, so we love using Opulence a lot. And Opulence with those really scripty handwritten fonts it's so nice because it's just a bold, simple yet bold, and then you have a really nice script font underneath.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing I love about this font, if you're looking to design a logo for your business, I feel like
this would be
definitely a logo, all uppercase
level font.
Logo level font, just to give you all a little heads up on suggestions. Do you find it takes more heat to apply to wood? I would say we're going to use the 3rd setting. So the hottest, the middle to hottest setting.
Middle to 3rd.
Yeah, middle to 3rd for sure, but not necessarily have to. Again, all 3 of these are linked down below for you. Super, super fun.
If for some reason,
Lauren tested a lot of these.
Sign up. If you don't have a Cricut reference guide and you're looking to do that, you can join yearly or monthly. Actually, I did on wood everyday iron on.
Yeah.
I always do it on the medium setting, and that's what I put it on.
Beautiful. So yeah, you can always go up if it's not adhering for you. Sometimes I like to make sure to apply enough pressure. It does take pressure. You know, this isn't a thing where you wouldn't have the pressure. All right. Now, download the fonts, get them in Design Space. Here is what we've designed. Now, before we do that, before we go into designing, you would want to take the size that we have provided on the tag that I already showed up on the overhead camera. You want to grab a rectangle, and you would want to size your frame.
7.5 by 30.
Yep, 7.5 by 30 is the size. So if we go width, we will be able to type in 30, and then our height is 7.5. Okay, so this right here is perfect. This represents our sign. Notice how what we're going to do is change this color. I like to do a light gray. Then we will send to back. And then we will design this project from here. We will design this project from our rectangle, okay? This is how we love to bring projects to life. So we are gonna go get a new text box. We are go search under system, okay? And we'll start with our easy one. And we're just go scroll around.
Opulence, if you'll just type in OPU.
OP, I was saying OC, I'm crazy.
OPU.
Love it. Here it is. And we're just going to type in grandchildren here.
And this is where you can truly customize this to fit whatever you want. If you want it to say grandchildren, if you want it to say, one of the things that I had initially thought about doing with this, but I ended up not, strictly because at the very end of this project, I just didn't feel like it needed it. But at the very beginning, when I was doing this, I was thinking I could add some really cute little baby wooden like clothespins on the front to like interchange out some pictures, or there's so many different things that you can do with this. If you are wanting to display your children's artwork, you could put something really fun about art on there and then have the little clips on the front to interchange out their artwork throughout the week.
I love that. So there's so many options.
Yes.
I love it. So what I did was I just centered grandchildren, and now I'm using my keys on my computer just to move it up. I think that's a really fun little hack. So that's super neat. And then we are going to build our amazing Make Life Grand, which is really, really fun, okay? So we're going to start by looking at our amazing fonts, which is Sapphire. So we're gonna start with Sapphire, and then after we'll bring in the swoosh, okay? So we're gonna start with Sapphire, and we're going to type out Make Life Grand without an M and without the D.
You can do it either way. I would personally probably go ahead and just type out exactly what you want. So type out Make Life Grand, and then what you can do, what I did later on was come in with my swoosh font, and I was able to line it up based on the D and the M that was already there.
I love that. Make Life Grand. Now, what we're gonna do, size this up.
Not super high. The way that looks will change a lot once you get the swoosh font in there.
Yes, very interesting. Trying to see. So it looks like this right here just looks a little different. You can always select the text and the background and click, this is what I did before, align center, or you could click align bottom, and then you can just raise it up a little. So I clicked align bottom and then just raise it up. Just to make sure it's all centered, I think is a really nice thing.
What you were looking to do was probably hit center horizontally. If you center it, it would have centered it all together, but centering horizontally would keep it where it was.
Yeah.
But then it would center in the middle of grandchildren.
Okay, so we have this position now, but now we're going to add in the swoosh. Do you see how up here we have these beautiful swooshes, but what we're not able to do is just quickly add it in. Maybe you want to make it really, really simple. And that's where you can do this option instead of the regular glyphs using character mapping and font books. So this is another workaround if that doesn't work for you, okay? So we're going to go Sapphire Swoosh. So you'll need that font as well. And this, this is why you cannot use the swoosh fonts as its own.
Oh yeah.
This is funny.
Not fun.
Always fun, always fun. This is the word text, okay? So we're just going to go ahead and grab the letter M, and this is the letter M.
Do a capital M.
And notice that if you do a lowercase, the swoosh is on the right, and if you do a capital, it's on the left. So whichever way you want, you will be able to get the left or the right. So super easy. So we need the left swoosh. So we're going to double click and delete out our top. And we'll just go ahead and bring it all to 1, and beautiful. So now let's zoom out. Zoomed out too much. We're going to move this up. And what we're going to do now is what Lauren was saying was, Tanner, it would actually be better if you left the M, because look, now we can size our M down and start figuring out what size it really needs to be. Look at that. Look at that.
Now you can do it that way. That was one of the ways that I...
Did you just line up yours here?
And then I lined it up, but to double check if you wanted to, look at the text size on the M you've got now, the swoosh M.
Yeah.
What text size does it say?
117.
So now hit the actual Make Life Grand.
138.
So you really
need to be at a 138?
Go to 138 on that one. Yeah.
Let's do that.
And that's what that one...
138. Beautiful.
Now it does look a little bigger, but remember that's the uppercase portion of that, so that should fit that now.
Yeah.
And then you can go in and erase that M behind it.
Fascinating. So look at this. We're going to go here. We're going to go over. Just remove our, oops. We're going to remove our M. Move this over. And then once you're happy, you can hold Command, position it right where you want it, and you can go ahead and attach, or we'll actually want to combine. So we'll want to unite these together. So now it's united, and we can always, you know, if we want to, once we zoom out, we can move it because we just united, which is really nice. So we'll zoom out here, and now we're going to rinse and repeat this same exact project, or the same exact style, to the right side. So let's zoom on in here. Let's grab our text box. We have our swoosh again, and we just need now a lowercase d, because remember that swoosh we need on the right side. So we already know our size, so we'll select that letter. We'll go to the font size 138. Beautiful. You can line this up here. Oh my gosh, now this one fits like a glove. The other one did not fit like a glove, which was weird. So we'll just go over, delete it out, ta-da, and then move it over a hair. You can zoom in if you need to as well. I'm gonna zoom in. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, beautiful. And then it's like the D, and we're gonna click Combine and Unite. And I'm just going to move this around. I don't want my swoosh to be longer than grandchildren. Just looks, if the script font was bigger than the, you know, the bold text up top, it just wouldn't look right to me.
You want a lot of times when you're working with font pairing, you want your bold font to be larger than like your script font.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll just position this here. Now, this is the best part. Once you're ready, you can delete your background. All right, that is just there for you. It is not there for anyone else but yourself. Delete. And then we'll select this and we're going to attach. We attach it because none of the letters are touching that are not already attached. So grandchildren and the script font, no attaching, nothing like that. You can go ahead and attach it. You can always unattach, but now you can do that with combine and things. So it's either way, you know, it's super easy to, it's very forgivable, which I appreciate. So that's super fun. All right. Janice, we hate when you get phone calls during live streams too. We totally hear you. Totally hear you. So we have our perfected one. We will click Make It. We're working with our Explore 3 today. We are going to work on the mat. Here at Makers Gonna Learn, we absolutely love working on the mat. So we'll click here. Now, this is taking up a full half of a 24-inch mat. Super cool. We need to, since we're using iron-on, we need to mirror. All right, turn that mirror on. Let's go mirror it. If you're just tuning in, we are using heat transfer vinyl today. You can do this with vinyl. I'm teaching it heat transfer vinyl. We're obsessed with heat transfer vinyl. Love it, love it, love it.
Especially obsessed with heat transfer vinyl on wood.
Yes,
like
for
that
sure.
is one of our favorite practices here. If you're trying to if you're whipping up a really quick sign for a gift or something, you truly can't beat the blanks that some of these local craft stores have. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, so many different good places you can get blank. Pop on some HTV on that bad boy.
Totally.
Make a nice sign and
So
lickety
good.
split. Literally
So
my favorite
good.
thing to do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So we've mirrored. We're going to press continue. We are connecting to our machine. We are going to use everyday iron-on. We've bookmarked that. It's also under popular. Everyday iron-on.
Yes.
We'll do action fire Q&A. We're going.
While you are starting the cut,
Michelle
said, can you use the Joy Extra for this project? Actually, yes, Michelle, you can, because the Joy Extra has a cutting width of 8.
Bless you.
Excuse me, 8.5 inches. Yes, it has to be more than 8.5 because it can fit an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper on it.
You could totally cut this.
You can cut this with your Joy Extra.
We are obsessed with our Joy Extra.
You might just have to use smart materials.
Yeah, you will.
Because it has a longer cutting surface, like a longer area, so you can't use the mat, but you can use a Joy Extra for this.
Congrats.
Next question was, how can you walk us through how to do this if you don't have a 24-inch mat? Friend, first of all, did you know that you could kind of engineer a 24-inch mat that Cricut will still recognize?
I have a hack. So I have a video you can watch. It is, I was looking at the video yesterday. It is Cricut mat hacks everyone needs to know about or something. Check out my mat hack video. I talk about taping two together. Really great hack. What we're gonna do, since we set our material to everyday iron-on, we've selected it. We made sure to put our material shiny side down.
Yep.
And then we're
I
going to
talked about this yesterday.
press cut.
Carrier sheet down.
Carrier sheet down.
We've changed our verbiage.
Carrier sheet down.
Sorry, we got to be politically correct because not all carrier sheets are shiny.
I know. Crazy, crazy. I think there's a mistake on the cut and copy commands. So, Lauren, you were considering doing this as one separate mat and this as one separate mat, pretty much?
So you would also have to do,
I think
grandchildren would have to be, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think what you could do, let me just double check myself before I say it. Yeah, so you could cut, theoretically here, you can cut grand and the C on one mat with make life on one mat.
Yeah.
Here, I would cut this as one mat, and then I would cut, I would cut here and grand. So the I over to grand. I will show you how to do this, but the mat has to cut first, okay? So once the mat's done cutting, I will show you where I would slice it and try to show you how exactly to do that if you want. You would just have to cut it a little, it'd be a little wonky. You would slice this out, and then like that. So a little different, but yeah, it's totally doable. I have some training on how to make larger than mat projects that are actually way more complex than this one.
Yeah.
So this one's a really simple, larger than mat project. So I have true belief that this would be a really good beginner, larger than mat project. So I love it. Love it. We'll unload this. We will weed this in just 1 second. I just kind of want to show you all exactly what I would do in this instance. So this is attached. What we'll do is I don't think that matters right now. So I'm going to grab a text box, I'm going to grab a shape, and I'm going to put this here. I'm going to send this to back. I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to show y'all. So we're going to take this here, okay? We're going to select all of this. We're going to click Oop, I was right. First, we're going to unattach. Beautiful. Now, go select just this, and I'll click slice. Okay, so that's sliced. Now I'm going to take this. Beautiful. Take both of these. I'll click slice. Beautiful. I'll delete this out. This is a very sped up training for you advanced users. If you're a beginner here, please give me a second. We'll delete this one out. Now we'll take this.
There's 3. There's a gray one behind it.
Yes, there is. Thank you. We'll take this one. Delete it.
Nope.
Oops, I needed that one. Thank you. So I'll take this one, and delete it. Beautiful. So I'll just change the color over, you know what? I'll change this over to here. So this will be one map, and this will be one map. So now you'll attach here, and you'll attach here. And we'll click.
I think the grand with the C is still over 12 inches though.
Oh, it's 12.72. Okay, so you'd size it down a little bit.
Yeah.
It still sticks with us. I would just literally make it smaller, and that will be super simple. So,
But you would need to make it smaller together.
together, yeah. So we could size all of it down together.
Like that. That should be good.
Yeah. So now you can check your work. Beautiful. This is how I would do it. If I had only a 12 by 12 mat, this is how I would do it. It would be easier to line up, I think, than trying to do line by line, but everyone has a little different method to the madness.
I like yours. I'm not saying I don't like it.
I do also like that you could cut this on one mat. So I could just move this here. Boom. Doesn't even take up, you still have some extra.
You definitely can.
You still have some extra,
Yeah.
which I like. So, and we just had to size it down like an inch or two. Okay, so anyway, we love larger than mat here. We love regular mats. We love it all. We love it all. Okay, so we'll just take our True Control knife. We will cut this right down the middle. Save this excess for later. Oh my gosh, I'm out of touch.
Everybody's wanting our coffee today.
I saw. Guys, our coffee is giving us life. So we
You
love
know
that.
what this really is today? It is.
It really
just
is. It
touching
really,
my
really
soul.
is. So we're gonna weed on the mat, which is our favorite way to weed. Weeding larger projects like this is so easy. It's like super, super simple. And we have all of this linked down below. So when you see like, oh my gosh, when I use heat, it activates it and it'll just be, it'll stay down better. It'll do all of that better. Super, super nice. So anyway, we love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, look at this. So I don't know if it's just this batch.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
We just ordered it.
Okay, it was just a little bit different. I don't know
I mean,
if you...
that's fine. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
not normal.
I know. A little weird. A little weird. Now, here's another thing.
wonder.
Tell me. What are you going to say? Just say it.
Almost
Love it.
guarantee it's
Love it,
easy
love it,
weed,
love
I
it.
would think. But
So
that's my
good.
only other thing. It might be.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so what I love about heat transfer vinyl on more than vinyl is look, before we commit, we can place this down like that. I can grab my tape measure and look, I can, without any stress, say, okay, that's 3 inches. And be like, okay, that's 2, this is 2.5. So I just need to move it over to the right or the left, just a little, just a hair, and then recheck it. So now this is, it's probably too much over here now. Now this is 2 3/4. And this is 2 3/4. So that's beautiful. So see what I mean? Like it's just easier, easier all around. So you can apply it, move it around, make sure you're happy with it. And yeah, we'll lay it flat. We preheated our Easy Press to level 2. And now we'll just start applying. Now this only needs about 20 to 30 seconds per area. A mini easy press, you do keep moving. You'll notice, you'll see bubbles coming, which means you're good to go. Means it's adhered down. And yeah, this is so simple. Let us know what questions you have. We would love, love, love to host you at Make-a-thon. So fun.
We did have a friend ask, it's not about the project we're doing right now. It's about water slide. They asked, can I use polyacrylic instead of spray sealer on water slide paper for the 3 layers? I'm going to say no. If you're talking about the brush on polyacrylic, I'm going to say you're going to need the spray adhesive.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do brush on polyacrylic. Now, they have a spray polyacrylic that you can use, and I have used before. But from my knowledge, you can only use the spray.
Yeah, you need something sealer. Like that. I think you're on the money, Lauren.
Somebody said you need to...
I need what?
No, I don't think so. Somebody said you needed to weed the M, but I don't think you do.
Oh, it was so little.
Oh, yeah, I would have
totally
left it
fine.
personally.
Totally fine. Totally
yes,
fine.
Trish, that is one of the things that we absolutely love about HTV is it's repositionable before you have applied heat.
Right. So good. So look at this. Look at this. Now you can peel it up. And then this is another thing I love. I'm like, oh my gosh, this part of the A isn't down super well. Lay it back down. Just give it a little more love with the mini easy press. It's like fine pressure.
Yes.
Let that cool for another 10 seconds. Because if it's not perfectly cool, again, it won't like stay down. So like this eye, oh my gosh, it's my eye. Give it some more love. Beautiful, beautiful. The C needs a little bit more love. I'm telling you guys, this is just so forgivable. Love it. So. Okay. Then peel this up.
Looks like you bought it from the hobby.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, look at this little piece. Trying to play with the church's money. It's one little piece. Just a couple more seconds and we will be dun 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 dun. Beautiful.
Love
so
it.
It's very, very forgivable. Guys, look at how forgivable. So much fun. Do, 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 do. What do you guys think?
I love it.
I love it.
It's so cute.
So good.
And yours is a lot straighter than mine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our 13 days of Halloween. I hope you are excited for what we have in store for you today, and that is our reversible vertical porch sign. Now, today we're gonna get kind of like a 2-in-1 craft where you all are gonna get a Halloween craft and a fall craft. So stick around to learn exactly how we are gonna do this with our Cricut. Before we get started on our porch sign, one thing I do want to make sure that you all know, we are going to be doing a frameless porch sign. So it's going to look like it has a frame, but it's not going to have a frame. And it's going to be absolutely beautiful by the end. But our supplies, it looks like there's a lot on this table, and there is. Obviously, we are starting out with our wood plank. Now, this one we just got from Hobby Lobby. You can pick these up at any local home improvement store. Or craft store, either one, and you really can get whatever size you want for this. We just picked this one up at Hobby Lobby because it was simple and easy. Because we are working with a large area, we are also going to need a 12 by 24 light grip cutting mat. Now, we are going to be painting this sign today, and we are going to be using StarCraft chalk paint. On the other side, which I will show you guys in a minute, I've already painted one side black, and so this side I'm going to be using linen white, but we are going to be using chalk paint. We're also going to use painter's tape. This is just the Frog brand painter's tape. Any painter's tape will work. We are going to be using a straight edge for measuring for our frameless effect, as well as a pencil to mark that off. Because we are painting, we are going to need a paintbrush. After we have finished painting, we are going to be staining the edges of our sign, and I will go ahead and flip this over for you so you can see what I mean. So I have just taped this off, and what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be coming in here. This is our favorite wood stain. It is the Early American. And we're just going to be coming in here and staining the edges of this so that it gives it the faux frame look. When it comes to staining, you are going to need some gloves, and we've just got an old t-shirt or an old rag that you've cut up, and we're going to be staining those edges with that. Once we have painted our sign, we are going to be using HTV to apply our design to our sign. So you will need lots of different colors of HTV depending on what design you want. These are the colors that we are going to be using today. You are also going to need a sanding block, and that's just to give this sign a good light sand all over. And finally, you are going to need florals. Now this is something that is not absolutely required for your sign. We think that it would give it a very nice touch. Now that we have gone over all of our supplies, we are going to actually start with preparing our sign before we jump into the design space portion. And the reason we're doing this is because you need to have your sign painted and let it fully dry before we move on to any other step. So as you can see, I've already painted one side of this sign. This is going to be the Halloween side of the sign. I'm going to teach you guys how to add this frame to our sign, and then we're going to go ahead and paint it. And then once it's dried, we are going to add the stain, and then we will add our HTV. So first thing that you want to do with your sign is you want to measure, you want to know how large your frame is going to be. So with this piece of wood is it's 9 inches in width anyway, so it's fairly small when it comes to working with an area. So I decided to only leave a very, very small, like a 1/2 inch frame along the edge. So what you will need to do is decide how large you want your frame to be. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to come in here and we're going to mark ever so often on that 1/2 inch mark. So we're going to come over here and we're going to measure 1/2 inch. And then we're going to do that all the way across the sign. Once you have the sign marked all the way around, what I'm doing now is I'm just coming in here with this straight edge and I'm making my marks. Once you have made your marks all across your sign, what you're going to do now is you're going to take your painter's tape and you are going to lay that along the edge of your marks. Then you're just going to come in with your finger and make sure that is down nice and smooth. Now that we've got that taped off, one thing that I want to make sure to let you guys know, for best results, if you want to, you can give this a light sand. I have already given it a light sand before taping it off, but that is what the sanding block is for, just to give your whole sign a light sand. With the chalk paint, if you are using a darker color, black mainly covers everything up, but because I'm using this white color, this linen, I did give this side a light sand. So make sure that you do that before you start painting. I'm going to give this sign its first coat of paint. Now, as you are painting your sign, you can use, we actually suggest that if you are painting the signs using a small roller, we just did not have any at this moment. So you can, as you can see, you can use a brush. We use brushes all the time, but with larger areas, sometimes a roller will work best. Now that we have the first coat of paint on our sign, we are actually going to set it aside and let it dry. You will need to do a second coat, maybe even a third if you're doing a light color. Normally with these chalk paints, 2 coats of paint do great. However, we did do the linen white, so we're going to at least do 2 coats and then see how it looks after 2. But now that we have this done, we're going to set it aside and then we're going to hop over into Design Space. Now, while we're waiting on our sign to dry, here in Design Space, we're going to start the process of designing our porch sign. So what I have done is I've actually measured the size that the painted area is, and I have put in a guide, 2 different guides, one for each side in Design Space. Now you are gonna have to work, we're working at 25% because it's hard to see if you don't zoom it way out because of how tall this porch sign is. So one side is going to be our Halloween side, and then one side is going to be our fall side. So on our Halloween side, I'm going to show you what I want it to look like and then I'm going to teach you how to get there. So on our Halloween side, I'm going to have a cute little ghosty down here in the corner, and it's going to say "Boo, y'all." And then for our fall side, we are going to have "Hey there, pumpkin," with a cute little pumpkin on the bottom. And we are actually leaving room on the top of both of these signs so that we can add in a floral piece. So just keep that in mind. That's why we're leaving the tops, the area up top is so we can put a floral piece there. So I'm going to hide these again, and I'm going to walk you step by step on how to get to our finished product. First of all, I'm going to show you guys and teach you guys how to download fonts from Maker's Gonna Learn. We actually have 2 on this computer that are not downloaded, so I'm going to head over to Maker's Gonna Learn. The first one that we're going to be looking for is the Sassy Cow. That's the one that's the cow print that the word "boo" was in. So I'm just going to search Sassy Cow. It's going to come up, and we're going to download this one. The next one we are going to search for is Free Spirit. Now, you don't have to type in the whole word. You can just type in the first part of the word, and it will search for you. So right here, Free Spirit, I'm going to download that. So these are both zip files. We are now going to have to open each one of them separately, open the font up, and install it into our font book. So I'm going to go back to Free Spirit, do the same thing, open that up, install the font into Font Book. Now to get them to work in Design Space, we're going to go here to Cricut, and I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to reload. Now if you're working on something and you haven't saved it, which I've not changed anything here, so I don't have to save it, but if you are working on something and haven't saved it in a while, make sure you go ahead and save it before you hit reload, or it will go back to the last saved time. So once again, make sure you save it and then click reload. What that is going to do is that is going to reload Cricut Design Space. As you can see, it went back to 100%, so we're going to zoom right back out to 25. And then here it is. We're going to hide these. And what that does is that uploads the fonts that you previously did not have on Design Space, and it puts them in there. So now we're going to go over to text. We're going to do the drop-down search menu. Now the new Cricut update, you do have to go to System for System Fonts. So we are looking for a system font, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with Sassy Cow. So I'm going to grab that. From here, I'm just going to type out the word "boo." Now the cool thing about the new Design Space feature is I can just move this in, and look, it already makes it vertical. Or you can move it out and it puts it back horizontal. So we are wanting this word to be vertical. So I am moving it in from the sides to make it vertical, and from there I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to size it up as large as I can. Okay, so now we have our boo, And you can move it up or down, add things, whatever you want. Next, we're going to add the word y'all. So once again, we already uploaded that font. I'm going to go in here to text. I'm going to change the font to Free Spirit. Go to Systems, Free Spirit. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so I can see it. And then y'all. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it down below. We're going to have to size it down to fit in our guide and then place it down here. So our next step, what we're going to do, and one thing that you can do to kind of keep things separate, if you want to change your guide back to basic cut, that way you can see what color background you're working with. So I know that my background is black. So because the Halloween background side is black, I'm not going to cut out Boo out of black vinyl. So I'm going to change this to white. This way we kind of have more of an idea of exactly what our sign is going to look like. And I'm going to change that to white. Okay. So now I want my little ghost here in the bottom. If you go to Maker's Gonna Learn and search ghost, it will come up. I have already downloaded it. So I'm just going to go to view all. And then if you've already downloaded an image, this is a very good way, a very good shortcut to check and see if you have downloaded it. I'm just going to type in ghost. So this is what the file looks like on the Maker's Gonna Learn website. I'm going to select that and I'm going to add it to my canvas. From there, I'm going to pull it over to the side and then I'm just going to ungroup these. And then I'm going to delete out the ones that I don't want. We're going to change this little guy back to white. Pull him down here in the corner. And then make him pretty big because we want him looking like he's coming up out of the corner of our sign. So now that we have him there, I'm going to add in my cowboy hat. Because I want to put my cowboy hat on here first, before I show you all how to slice out the edge of this ghost so that it fits perfectly in your corner, and that was a good guide for where you can start. So once again, I'm going to go over here to upload, view all. This is one that we have recently. So we're going to select this, select our cowboy hat. Now, as you can see, it's just an outline. I don't want just an outline, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. I do want to work with the outline, but I also want a solid color. So I'm going to select this part, go to contour, and I'm going to hide all contours. That's just going to give you your basic shape. So now we know that I want my cowboy hat brown, and then I have duplicated that. So that lays right over top of there. You can select both of them and arrange them or align them center so that it fits perfect. So now I'm just going to group those together. That way they cut separately. However, I can move them together here. So once I have that grouped together, I'm going to move it down, probably turn it just a little bit. It does have to be within our parameters. So it looks like our little ghost is too big for our cowboy hat to fit. So we're going to size our little ghosty down, pull our cowboy hat down. Let's move him over some. And then from there, you can actually space this out. Okay, so once we have everything pretty well set, one thing about this design is I feel like it can get to where it looks kind of spread out a little bit. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to show you. Now, normally I say this is a cardinal sin and you never ever do this. However, with some fonts, it works and it can work to your advantage. So this font is locked, which means it can only move up and down. See, nothing else changes. However, if you go up here to your size of your font, this little button right here, the lock button, if you unlock that, the cool thing about this is you can stretch your fonts. Once again, if you are working with an image, cardinal sin to unlock it and stretch it. However, sometimes with fonts, it works to stretch it out just a little bit, especially since we're working with a skinnier area. So we're just going to stretch it down some and stretch it out so that we can fill up all of this area. Now, once we have everything set, now that we have it all set where we want it, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to slice off this excess of this ghost so that we know that it fits perfectly in the corner. So what you're going to do, we have turned this guide into a basic cut currently. So you're going to select your ghost. You're going to come over to your layers panel. All the way at the bottom, you're going to hit Control or Command and select both of those layers. Now, because we are working with 2 layers, it is going to slice. So we want to slice that out. Now, if we go to the top, we can see that we have sliced off the bottom of our little ghostie. So we want to, because I want to still keep my guide together, let's select both of these, and we can actually delete that one out and turn this back into a guide. And then we're going to move our little ghost, we're going to arrange it and send it to back. Now that we have our Halloween side done, we're now going to work on our autumn or fall side, and the 2 fonts that we're going to be using today is Insistence for Pumpkin and Demonstrate for Hey There. So what I'm going to do, grab our text once again, come up here, we're looking for system fonts. We are working with the Demonstrate first, Demon. We're going to make it larger so I can read it, and then I'm just going to type Hey There. Now, from here, because I want it to be fairly large, if I were to size this down, it would have to be super, super small. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this side in so that they're on top of each other, but then I'm going to ungroup to lines. And the reason being is because I want to move this around. So we are going to kind of size it down, and you may have to zoom in some. So we're going to size this down to fit within our guide. And then size this one down as well. I actually think I like that better. So we're going to do not a capital T. We're going to do a lowercase t. And then we're going to size it on down some. And I kind of think I like it touching. Let's size it down just a little more. So this is really going to be a personal preference, how you want it, where you want it. That's going to be totally up to you. But I think we're going to do that. And then once you are satisfied with the placement, then you are going to select them both and you are going to weld them together so that they are one unit. From there, we're once again grabbing our text, and then the text we're going to be using for this one, we're going to Systems, Insistence. We're going to make it larger, all in capital letters. We're going to type out pumpkin, zoom out, and once again, the new feature in Design Space is you can just move this in and then actually move this down. There we go. And now, since it's all vertical, we are going to resize. Once we have this sized down, we're going to go up here to line spacing, and we're actually going to pull our line spacing closer together. That way we could still make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Boom. Now that we have this set, we are going to add the pumpkin detail. This is where you can download. If you go and search pumpkin, this will come up on makersgonnalearn.com. We are going to add this to Canvas. Now, this is at kind of a different angle than what I'm wanting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this, and I'm going to move this pumpkin out of the way. My next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the shapes. I'm going to grab a square. I'm going to pull it over here. Probably just go ahead and unlock that. And I'm going to make it large enough to where it covers this side of the leaves. Now I'm going to select them both and I'm going to slice. Now the only reason I sliced this is so that I could move this around and kind of manipulate it and this other side the way that I want to. So now I'm going to come in here, size my pumpkin as large or as small as I want, and then I'm going to size my floral pieces down, change the angle a little bit. Now one thing to keep in mind is it does still look small, but this is still a very large piece. So we're going to size it down even more. Move this pumpkin. I'm actually going to change the angle of it just a hair. And then we're going to grab this. Actually, what you can do is once you have this one set and the angle that you want it, you can duplicate it, pull it over, flip it horizontally, bring it in, select these both, align them center, and boom. Now what you could do as well, if you wanted to, you can select your pumpkin and your guide, and then we're going to align them and we're going to center them horizontally so that our pumpkin is centered within our guide. We are now going to cut our design out of HTV. Now, obviously, this is a very large design. One thing I want to make sure you guys know and understand is make sure that your letters stay within the 24-inch, 12 by 24 inch. For the most part, if you want them to stay together. Now, one thing I do want to show you, just in case you are not working with a 24-inch piece of vinyl or you only have 12 by 12 or a shorter piece of vinyl, one thing that you can do, we'll go back to the design space, and I'm going to do this on the word pumpkin. What you want to do is you're going to want to ungroup these and select them one at a time. So we're going to start with a P. Okay, our P is 2 inches in height and our U makes it 6. So if you have a 12 by 12 mat or piece of vinyl, you can still select more. So now we're at 9 inches. Okay, let's try the other P. Okay, we're over the 12 inches now. So what you are going to want to do is go back, deselect this P, or select these 3, and then you are going to attach them together, okay? And then start with these, so P, K, 6, 9, the N, still over 12, so we're just going to select these 3, and then attach. And so that only leaves your N, only leaves you having to line up your N. So now when you cut, when you go to cut, so let's change this color so that it doesn't show up on that mat. So we're going to go to make it. And then we're going to go down to our pumpkin. So as you can see, the word pumpkin, P-U-M is grouped, is attached together. P-K-I is attached together. And the N is the only thing separate. So technically speaking, you can fit it on a 12 by 12 mat and still have room to cut other things if you want to. That's just a little bit of a hack or a tidbit of information that I wanted to let you guys in on, because I ran into that problem myself where the piece of vinyl that I wanted to work with was not long enough to accommodate the full 24 inches. So I had to group my letters together, and I think it was 2 at a time. So what we're going to do when we add this to our sign, you're going to see that I have 2 letters, 2 letters, 3 letters. So we're going to line it up manually. That's the easiest way that I have to tell you. Yes, it is a manual lineup. However, you can use a straight edge and get those straight. Try your best to get them as straight as possible. But that's the easiest way for me to teach you how to use it if you do not have 24 inches in length of vinyl to cut from. Now, this is HTV that we are going to be using. So what you need to do is you need to make sure all of your images are mirrored, because when you are cutting HTV, you have to be cutting a mirrored image. What that does, you're going to put shiny side down on your mat, you will weed it, and then we're going to turn it over and add it to our sign. Now before we start adding our vinyl to our sign, we're actually going to take off the tape, and I'm going to stain the edges to give us that frameless, framed look. So now I'm just going to be taking up this tape, and I'm actually going to take it up from the bottom down here. One thing I will say is I love frog tape. I know Scotch makes a good tape, and I do love the blue painter's tape, the Scotch Blues painter's tape. But man, frog tape to me just gives me such a good, crisp line. So what I am going to do before I stain this, I'm actually going to come in with an eraser, and I'm going to erase this pencil mark that I put on here by accident first, as best as possible, best as I can. Now, one thing that I will say, if you are doing it all black, you can just go ahead and come in and stain this. And on this side, we are going to do that, and I'll show you, you don't have to tape it off. However, since we are using a cream color on this side, I highly suggest that you take some tape, and I'm going to actually tape off the inside. That way it doesn't get on this early American stain, does not get on our cream paint. Now, one thing I'm doing right here is I'm just coming through and cutting off these corners so that they are straight edges across. And we'll add our last little bit of tape. One other thing I'm going to do before I add the stain is I'm going to do a light sand on the outside edges of this little frame. Now that we have that sanded, I'm going to go ahead and put my glove on, and we are going to start staining the outside of our sign. Now, one of the best practices when it comes to staining is having another dry cloth or a paper towel handy. That way you can wipe away the excess. So we're just going to open our stain up. This is a well-loved stain. We do not have very much of it left. So we're just going to put some on an old rag, and then we're going to come in and just stain these edges. Now, one thing I do want to make sure you all are super careful about, especially with this white layer, is trying your best not to get fingerprints on it, because as you can see, I was not paying attention and got my fingerprints on it right here, which I can kind of buff out a little bit. And really and truly, if you have to, you can kind of come in here with a sanding block and just kind of buff it out and not mess it up. So now that we have that, we're going to pull up our edge. Now, if the stain for some reason gets in the grain and gets on your beige layer, or your lighter layer, what you can do is just go in here and just kind of touch it up just a little bit. Or you could even bring in your paint and do just fine touch-up work. Either one, it really just depends on how precise you want to get. Now that we have our frame stained, we are going to start the process of adding our HTV to our sign. Now, remember with our Halloween design, we had our little ghost that has the corner. So that's where we're going to start with this one specifically. We're going to start down here in the corner, and we're just going to line him up down here with our corner, black corner. And then we are going to come in here with a mini easy press with a heat setting of 2. And we are going to heat this onto our wood sign. Now we are going to add his little hat. Now we're just lining up the hat detail. We're going to add that on. Now we're going to line up the word boo and y'all before we really press it down. First, I'm going to press y'all down. And then we're going to press boo. One thing I am going to do when doing boo, because HTV on wood seems to do a little better with as soon as you put it down, peel it. Now I'm just going to go through and make sure that's all down. So now, other than our floral piece at the top, we have our Halloween side done. Now I'm going to flip it over and do our fall side. Now this design is not one where we can start at the bottom, have a guide, and go up. So I'm actually going to lay all of these out first before I start pressing them down. So we're going to start with our pumpkin toward the bottom, and then add our leaves just to give us an idea of how much room we are working with. Okay, so I'm actually going to move this pumpkin on down toward the very bottom, and I'm going to start the process of pressing. So now we're going to start with our word, pumpkin. You all know we don't like to measure around here. Alicia and I are queens of the eyeball game. So don't come for us for not measuring and getting it precise. And there we have it. Now it is just ready to add the floral detail on the top to both sides. I know this has been a long project, but I really hope that you all have enjoyed it. Porch signs are super popular right now, and I hope you have learned different ways of designing, how to put HTV on wood, how to create a frameless frame. There are so many different things that we covered in this video. Now, if you liked all of the cut files and fonts that we used and you would like to join Makers Gonna Learn, you can at makersgonnalearn.com/join. We are a crafting community where we bring you education, motivation, and inspiration to start using your Cricut. I hope you all have enjoyed our 13 days of Halloween crafts so far, and I can't wait to see what you all create, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.